Hello, everybody. Welcome back to next survey of squeezes, and this time it's hopefully a bit of a fun episode. Let me just remind you of the journey so far. We started, of course, with that loads of theory that I had to go and do with you because I had to go and define the terms of threats and entry threats and single threats and, all the jargon that goes with describing squeezes. Once we started, we mainly concentrated on the automatic squeeze where the threats are split between the two hands. And when there's an entry with one of the threats and we can put the squeeze card where we want it, these are the easiest squeeze to do. We did loads of those to get into the habit of identifying the threats and working out the plan and so on. Then we started to do squeezes which aren't quite as convenient. One of them was where you can't set the squeeze card in the right hand, and we found that it was still all right provided we had an extended threat suit. The entry suit had an extension there. Then we moved on to both threats in the same hand, and that led us to the concept of positional squeezes because the squeeze still works, but only on the player who plays second. And then we found yet another of the automatic squeezes, that is, the threats are split. But if you don't have an entry with the threat card, then again, that is a position that leads to a positional squeeze. It only works on the second player to play. So now I come to something actually entirely different because it is not so much where the threats are and whether it's on this player or on that player. You do, of course, need the threats, but is a particular combination that might occur with an automatic squeeze or it might occur with a positional squeeze. So these are the features that I will be looking for today. First of all, the squeeze must be on the second player to play. When you play off the squeeze card, the second player to play. So obviously it could be a positional squeeze, but it could be an automatic squeeze as well, in the sense that the threats could be split, but it has to be the second player who is the one being squeezed for this type of squeeze to work. Next point is, you must be absolutely sure, sufficient to bet your house on it, that the person on the left, the person who plays second, is guarding the single threat. So they have the cover card or the guard against your single threat. You must know that with absolute certainty for this thing to actually happen. And then the third thing we want is that the entry threat is also a finesse position. So instead of doing a squeeze at all, you could just simply go and take a finesse. And if the finesse succeeds, if the person on the left who you're squeezing has this card, then you would make the contract anyway. So why am I interested in this? Because if the finesse would make the contract and I'm squeezing him or her for the contract, why am I bothering to go to all this trouble to go and do a squeeze? Well, here's the reason. If actually you play it as a squeeze rather than as a finesse, then when you come to the crucial moment where you play the squeeze card, you will find that the card that you could finesse against will actually show up as you play the entry suit in which this finesse position occurs. And it's actually when the finesse is failing that's of interest to us, because if you do this squeeze and then you play off your entry suit and this missing card doesn't turn up, well, then obviously, actually, the squeeze is failing. West does not own that particular card, which gives you an outside chance that, well, maybe if I now don't take the finesse at all, but rise with my top card, maybe the missing card will drop in the other hand. Now, if the finesse I'm talking about is a finesse for the king, so you have the ace and the queen as your finesse position, you, alas, will be waiting forever for a situation where you have a squeeze and it turns out you gain because fourth player had a singleton king. But if it's a queen that you're looking for, it is actually, well, it's not a high percentage chance, but, I mean, for instance, if suits break 4-2, a third of the time, the queen will be with the doubleton rather than with the 4-card suit. And that's a reasonable sort of chance. It's in the sort of, I don't know, probably 25% of the... I have people... Can you mute Louise, please, Kathy? So it tends to be a queen that we're looking for. It could even be a jack, actually, but I must say I've never done it with a jack. I have a few times in my life done it with a missing queen and found, indeed, that the queen was dropping and it was revealed by this sharp squeeze. So the hand that I've got on show is an illustration of the principle. So let's go and play through this hand. Let's see, partner's the bid. Partner starts off with a 1 club bid. You'll see his hand later. I think it's a strong no trump, actually. But he was playing Ackle. Mainly I play Ackle, better system. It's a pass for the next person. We, of course, have a heart suit, so we bid 1 heart. And then there was an overcall of 1 spade by the bad guys. Partner is not put off from this. Oh, he has a super no trump. He has a 2 no trump bid, so that is showing 18-19 in Eccles. And it goes pass, and now I have an interesting problem because normally if I bid 3 hearts, it shows a 5-card suit, and you can count on partner. Normally with 6, you bid 4 hearts. It is just possible, of course, that partner's bidding hides a singleton heart, and he needed to show his hand. But for all that, should I bid 3 hearts? I don't think so. I think I'm just going to do the normal thing to bid 4 hearts and hope that partner, especially with my singleton spade, partner doesn't have to have more than a single spade stop here. So I'm going to bid 4 hearts, I think. And everybody passes that. And here we are in our contract, the lead being the King of Spades. So I do my due diligence. I seem to have, well, all being well, 6 heart tricks, 2 diamond tricks for 8, club trick for 9, and I am looking for 1 extra trick. I see that it could come from the spade suit, maybe, and it could come from a club break at the moment, and it could come from a diamond finesse. I've got loads of possibilities where I might go for the extra trick. So the 2 of spades, he signals with the 8, so that looks like an even number. And West assumes it's an even number and doesn't want to set up by spade, and switches to the King of Clubs. Well, that's bad news for me, because one of my options, if he hadn't switched to clubs, was to just lead the Queen of Clubs at spades at some point and throw a club away, and then I could throw the other one. I see, actually, I could still do that. I think this must be a constructed hand, and I've missed an alternative way of playing the contract. Let me carry on with the way that demonstrates the squeeze I want to go and show you, even if this does have other ways to actually play it. So I follow here, and I will, not realizing I could actually, I say surely the best line is to draw trumps and leave the queen of spades and start throwing my losers. Then the jack of spades will be a winner. But I missed this, and I decide I will go for one of my other chances. I duck that because one of my chances is to send the club trick. So, fine. And now I'm going to draw the trumps, still in my innocence, not realising... I think it matters where I end up. I really intend to play a club and play for an extra club trick. So I haven't broken, I need to do a third one. And this is me trying to get a club trick and failing miserably when I discover that they don't break 3-3. East decides to kill the club threat, plays yet another club. So here I am with the position that I wanted to reach to demonstrate the squeeze, because this fulfills all the conditions that I told you about at the start. West bid spades and led the king of spades, so I am indeed willing to bet my house that West has the ace of spades and guards against the single threat that I have in dummy, which of course is the queen of spades. That has no entry as the single threat. I also have a second threat, which is the jack of diamonds, and with the ace of diamonds, king of diamonds, jack of diamonds, that is not only a threat, it is also a finesse position against the West hand. So this fulfills all, and the last one, of course, is the person being squeezed is the person on my left-hand side. So that was my third condition. It has to be the person who's playing second for this show. This is because when you play the entry suit, for it to show up, he must be playing, or she must be playing second in the sequence of cards. So here I go. I'll play off the 10 of hearts first. There goes one of the spades, and I don't need that spade, so I throw that. And let me clarify things absolutely. They're also playing off the ace of diamonds, just so you can see it as a show-up squeeze. And now, when I play the 6 of hearts, well, the one card that West is definitely going to keep is the ace of spades. He can see the queen dummy. He knows the king of diamonds is an entry. It's got to be a diamond that he throws. I follow my usual rules of squeezes. I have only been watching out for the ace of spades, the guard against the single threat. Once I haven't seen it, I don't need that card anymore, and I throw it away. Now, I lead this, and if the squeeze has worked, West's only card left is the queen of diamonds. But he plays the 10, or she plays the 10. That means that West cannot have the queen of diamonds. I know that West owns ace of spades as the last card in that hand. So, therefore, the squeeze is not working and the finesse is not working, and my only chance is that West began with 5 diamonds and the queen is doubleton in the other hand, which it was, and so the show-up squeeze has produced an extra trick, although why we didn't play it in the more obvious way of using the queen and jack of spades, I have no idea. So that's the principle of today's squeezes. You should find in all of the squeezes we have to do that it is West who's being squeezed, or East if the squeeze card's in the north hand, that you will have a single threat and a threat which is a finesse position against the player. So when you do your squeeze, the card you're looking for should show up. And, well, it either will or won't, depending on how I've set up the examples for you. So let me move out of the south seat. I have left. Let me bring in the next hand. Oh, that wasn't very clever. Ah, right, okay. Okay, I think I found my hands at last. So let's send this one to the table. And here we are with a new hand, which I hope will illustrate our new squeeze. I just need a volunteer in the south seat to assist us with the play of action. Come on, folks. Somebody new. Come on, have a bit of fun. You don't want to see me play through all the hands. Hi, Ken. You're welcome. Do you want to test out your microphone? Make sure you're okay. Remember, you need to get the list of people on the Zoom call by clicking on participants, and then you need to click on your microphone to turn it from red to black so that you can speak to us. The participants tab is along the bottom of the Zoom screen. Clicking on the participants tab.
Speaking now?
Yes, you're speaking now. Well done.
Great.
Well done, Ken. Okay. Here we are, and the notes I've got say that there's no opposing bidding. So rather than go through a long sequence, how about bidding 6 clubs so we can get straight into the play?
6 clubs sounds great to me.
Okay. The lead is the King of Hearts. So tell us your thoughts. Your due diligence is due.
I'm thinking of taking my ace.
You are immaculately playing, but I think you're jumping ahead of yourself. You're supposed to analyse the hand before you make such a master play.
Yeah. Okay, so I got the 6-card club suit opposite 2, so I got to decide what to do about that. That's one thing I have to decide about. And I would suppose I'm probably just going to play the ace-king and hope for the best there.
I don't know what else. I suppose if you drop an honour,
yeah, I could think about it.
Then you might think about finessing. That might save a trick. Yeah, okay. So ace first and make decisions later.
And then given that I'm going to lose a club, I have to take everything else. I'm not going to develop a trick in the spade suit. It's conceivable that by roughing I could establish the jack of hearts, but not terribly likely. So probably what I'm going to want to be doing is running the clubs and the spades, hoping for the, I know where the Queen of Hearts is, almost certainly. Mm-hmm. So knowing where the Queen of Hearts is, I can run this show-up squeeze, as you call it, in Hearts, and if he has to hold on to the Queen of Hearts, then I'll be okay with playing off the diamonds. Let's see if there's anything else I have to think about here.
Yeah. So you didn't mention, but it is a finesse position in diamonds because you could leave the jack.
Okay, I can run the jack,
okay? And I think you're absolutely right. You need some quite reasonable luck in the club suit. What about count if you're going to do a squeeze?
Well, once I lose the club, I've got no losers in spades, no losers in hearts. I've got a potential loser in diamonds, so I'm in good shape.
You are in good shape. All but one. Okay, and I think you're right as well. You should, because he may have led for Queen Jack smaller hearts. You're absolutely right. You should try to rough some hearts. Okay, well there's our sort of basic analysis done. So I'm prepared to let you win the ace of clubs.
Okay.
Ace of hearts. Sorry.
That's plan 1.
Okay.
Ace of clubs.
Right, well, no honour drops.
On my left. Okay.
Oh, that's okay.
I'm not taking any finesses
I think
here.
so. Right. Well, that's all right then.
Okay, so now I'm going to lose a club, and I have to decide whether I might want to just lose it or play spades here. Let me think about that. If I play spades, I don't see that it's much going to matter one way or the other. It is possible, I guess. I'm just going to play.
I think you're right in one sense. In one sense, in the sense of squeezes, it matters though, because for squeezes, you actually have to have all the winners except one. Now, it's true you got 3 club winning tricks there, but you don't have 3 club winners until you've actually ducked that club. So for a squeeze to work, you will have to concede that club at some point.
That's right. And I could play 3 rounds of spades, ruff a heart, and then concede a club.
You could do that as well, yeah. That would also work.
Whether or not that does me any good isn't so clear.
I don't mind, although I don't mind that as a line either, because you are conceding the club to set up your club winners. So your choice. I don't mind at
all. Okay. Let's just see.
It's awful
I don't see that particularly wrong. Okay, now let me think again. That's it. You just followed with a heart there, right?
You just followed with a heart.
Yeah. So I could lead a small diamond to the ace, ruff a heart, and give up a club. Is that a good idea? I'm not so sure.
I'm not sure about that, because they might play another heart and kill your threat.
That isn't so good. Okay, let's not do that.
Okay, I imagine he's going to throw a diamond at this point. Right, what shall I do? Well, I don't want to help you in the diamond suit. I could play a spade. I suppose spade gives you the most to do. Yeah, go on, let's play a spade.
Right.
Okay, another diamond here.
Okay, and now this should affect the squeeze here.
Well, you've still got your roughing out. No. You should be trying to rough out that queen of hearts.
What?
Oh, you've thrown the heart on the... Oh, you bad person. No. Throw a... Oh, I see. Yes, of course you have to throw a heart. I'm so sorry. You're doing fine. Put the 9 of hearts back. I am somewhere... Because I would have played it... I would have crossed on a diamond at some point and tried roughing it. I would have conceded the club a lot earlier, and that would have enabled me to rough 2 hearts to see if this queen.
Yeah.
So your line, I think, didn't give you as many options, but you're fine as you are. With the line you're playing, you have to go and play the 9 of hearts and keep your threat. Yeah. You're absolutely right, and you're right. You have to go now at this point. Play your squeeze. Off you go. So there it goes. Right. Well, he's can afford to throw your hearts. So.
Okay, and now we do that. And
you do, because that's a useless card to you. And now, because you know he's got the queen of hearts, any queen of diamonds is going to drop. There is no point any longer in taking finesse. And of course, because this is a constructed hand, actually, in fairness, a quarter of the time, this is going to work for you. This will actually generate extra tricks in contract.
Okay. So now, get myself out of this, right?
Well, no, just have a chat. You see, just looking at it, he had 4 diamonds on the left. If we'd have done a count and said, oh, he's got only 2 clubs and only 3 spades, because he's played high-low in the spades, showing that he's got 4. We could have said, oh, the diamond finesse is high percentage, which it is, because when somebody has 4 cards and the other person has 2, the odds are 2 to 1. The queen lies with the 4-card suit. But the whole point about today's class is that just because it's a high percentage doesn't mean that you therefore must go and take the finesse. And say this is our new position. whereby we use the squeeze technique to actually discover that in spite of only 4 diamonds, he doesn't actually have it. So yes, indeed, Ken, somebody else may wish to play one of the hands with us today, and if you leave, that person may join, or I may just invite you back in again. I'm not quite sure, but let's see if somebody else wants. Yeah, let's see if somebody else wants to.
Mute my mic if I can find it.
Okay, so the next board in line. I have 2 more to play through, so this is the next one. Oh no, audio not connected. Oh, I'm sorry, Annabelle. Okay. Florette, hi, welcome back, Florette. So, again, you need to show us your microphone is working. So,
good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Welcome. Okay. So, let me have a look at this. This has some bidding by the opposition, which, as I mentioned before, if it's a real hand, could mean nothing, and if it's a constructed hand, means it's that the opposition's bidding is significant. So let's see what happens. 1 diamond is their opening bid. What do you fancy here? Yeah, I think so. To double and then big clubs actually shows a stronger hand than this. When I was young, it used to be you had to have at least 17 high card points to double and show a suit. But I read in the bridge magazines that these days people have upped that to 18. They consider you need an even stronger hand before you double and actually bid it. So in spite of that, you are super strong. At least I think you're super strong. All you've got here is a 2 club bid.
But remember, Alan,
well, yes?
Remember what I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, that the simple test is, are you happy for partner to pass if you bid your suit?
Oh, yes. Do you know I've forgotten that already? I must write this down. I can't write it down. I'll give it a class. But when we finish, you must tell me that, and I try and memorise it properly. So if partner passes that, because are you happy? Yes, because you won't really be making 5 clubs and probably not 3 no trumps. However, the next person doesn't have a great hand and passes, and partner does have a good hand because he bids 2 diamonds, which of course 2 diamonds is their suit, saying he has at least 10 high card points and at least 3 clubs with him. Why 3 hearts? Why not 2?
To show my stuffers.
I think 2 hearts is showing your... You mean 2 hearts would show a suit?
Yes, but as I didn't double for takeout, I think it shows more stuffers.
I think 2 hearts is forcing, if that's your worry. Because partner's gone and agreed the clubs, and now you've changed the suit. Partner's not allowed to pass the constructive auctions like this. So to my mind, the problem with 3 hearts is it uses up lots of bidding room, so that you just find it harder to chit-chat with partner and try and find the best contract. Anyway, let's live with it, because I certainly think you're right to show the heart values, and give partner a chance to bid 3 no trumps. He doesn't bid 3 no trumps. You managed to hit his heart suit.
Right, that was my plan, to show
heart values, yes, in case partner can bid 3 no trumps.
Exactly.
But now what? He's got 4 hearts with you. Are you prepared to pass? Because you're going to ruff with all the top trumps if you do. Or you can go to 5 clubs. And it looks to me a safer retreat, given that he showed he's got clubs with you the first time. And so we've managed to reach the final contract of 5 clubs with an opening hand on the right of 1 diamond, which probably explains the lead, which is the 10 of diamonds. Right, well, you're in charge here, and so you tell me what you think you can make on this hand at the moment. For instance, I would suggest you can make 6 club tricks. What else can you make?
Well, Queen and half has to be in the east.
Queen of Hearts finessed in the East will make the contract, but
If I may.
you're jumping ahead to, don't forget, the first thing you do is count your tricks, and then work out how many tricks you need to find. So you've got 6 club tricks. How many more tricks do you have?
2 spade and 2 heart.
2 spades. Okay, that brings you to 10. You need 1 more trick. Now you examine all the suits in turn to see which one of them can provide extra tricks and how they can do it. So clubs aren't of interest, they look solid. Spades aren't of interest. And you've already told me about the heart suit, because this is where you say, I could make an extra trick here by finessing the Jack of Hearts. And is there anywhere else you can get a trick?
I don't think I can get it from the diamond because I have 6 of them. There's probably 4 in East and 3 with the lead 3 in West.
Well, this lead to me suggests a doubleton.
Okay.
So I am thinking the opening bid was actually a 5-card suit.
5-card suit and 2 cards. And
2 cards, in which case, because you've got a threat, at least if you, to be honest, even if they were 4-3, you could trump around the diamonds, and that would create the 9 of diamonds as a threat card. So it's not a winner, but you do have some value out of the diamond suit, and it's something you should note at this stage, that I've got the heart finesse, I've also, I suppose, got a heart threat, and I've probably got a threat in the diamond suit, would be the analysis at this point. Not that you could do much about it, of course, because they're pretty much in charge at the moment.
Mm-hmm. So I don't think I have any other alternative than what you said. Sorry, my English is poor, I know.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I am told I speak too fast. So, for all that, we're agreed. You have a heart finesse and a heart threat, and you have probably a diamond threat. But they are in charge of what's about to happen. You just have to follow suit and see what they do.
Okay. Let's start.
Okay. So East wins with a king, which normally denies the queen, so maybe they are 3. And then the ace.
And
then the 4.
Is Fleurette able to turn her sound effects off in account?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry, Adam. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so, well, you can probably rough this low, or should you rough it low? Of course you shouldn't. East has been trying to lull you into a sense of false security here, and if you'd have roughed for the 5, you'd have over-roughed. I have to tell you, when I used to teach lessons, I gave style points for what people rough with in this position. And if they rough with the 8, they got a pat on the back because they've made sure that they can't be over-roughed. If they rough with the 10 or the Jack, they got a couple of style points because they're stuff. But to get the 10 style points, you have to rough with the ace because it's flamboyant and it shows that you're totally aware of the fact that the ace, king, queen, jack, 10, 9, and 8 are really all equivalent cards. And so on. So you've got 2 style points. Oh, you want to go for your 10 style points, do you, Florette? Okay, yeah, why not? Go for 10 style points. Makes no difference, of course. The 8, because you've got plenty of entries to dummy anyway. But if you want rewards from your teacher about how excellent your play is, 10 style points at the moment. Okay, well, you're in charge now. That was sneaky of East, pretending he didn't have the Queen of Diamonds. What are you going to do next?
Play trump, I suppose. Play all my trump.
I think so. Don't forget, if you're going to play it as a squeeze, you have to ask, where are you going to end up? Where do you want the squeeze card to be? And the usual thing is that you will end up with the single threat, that's the 9 of diamonds, and opposite the entry threat. And that means you want to end up in dummy with the 9 of diamonds and opposite the ace, king, jack of hearts. But that means then you've got to play off all of your clubs first so you can cross over with the spades later on to be in the right position for a squeeze to take place. This is technically, of course, an automatic squeeze. The threats are split, 9 of diamonds in one hand, jack of hearts in the other with an entry, and the standard thing, you want to end up in dummy playing your squeeze card for a squeeze. So absolutely right, you want to play off not only some trumps, but all the trumps in order to go and play a squeeze. So, what shall I play? Like 4 to done. Sorry, I trying to work out what these should play. I think so, because I want to play them all off. Now, if you want this to be a literal show-up, i.e. the card shows, you want to cash the ace of hearts first. But you don't have to. These show-up squeezes work regardless on the principle that the card is dropping. So I'm perfectly happy for you to cross on the spades or to cash the ace of hearts first to actually get to a position where you can see the card you're looking for. Which would you like to do? Ace of hearts or get on with the squeeze by playing the spade to the ace? Yes, you could play either would work as well, Florette. Yes, you could do a spade and then heart and then another spade. All of those would work. And now we're entering domain. This is the squeeze moment, of course, because East has to make a decision about whether he's going to keep the diamond cover. He does. So East has the Queen of Diamonds, we know for sure, and therefore only one other card. If it's the Jack of Hearts, it will show up. If it's the Queen of Hearts, sorry, it will show up when we leave the heart. But it doesn't show up. So we know that East doesn't have it, so our only chance is indeed that one. And so... And we look at the full hand, and again, you see this classic sort of thing. The hearts, the 6 hearts out. There are 4 hearts on the right-hand side, so there's a good chance that East actually did have the Queen, and the finesse would have worked for us, but there's no need for us to actually take that chance. Because we also had the diamond threat, we could play the whole hand as a squeeze, and then when it comes to playing the entry suit, which is also the finesse suit, the Queen of Hearts is going to show up as we do it, and the fact it doesn't show up is the gain in this type of squeeze. When it doesn't show up, we know that West actually has it, and our only chance is it started doubleton, because West would have kept it guarded if he could, and we play our king, and then when the cards are as we can see them here, we gain our extra trick because we've set up the Jack of Hearts without taking our losing cards. Thank you, Florette, for playing it with me.
Thanks, Mr. Allen.
Don't call me Mister. It really makes me.
Sorry.
It's okay. Just call me Alan. That's fine. And let's put the last hand up, and then because I've only got 3 examples of these there, I actually have played at least 2 or 3 of these in my life with success. I've also played several where they failed because Hearts split 3-3 and the Queen was offside. So you don't think it's a cure-all for everything, of course. Right, here's the last deal come to the table. And because I put it in because it's a squeeze I have played in my life. So there are some squeezes I know about I've never ever played because they're so rare. Okay, 4 spades. Let me just check your name so I can refer to you properly. Your profile says you're Rashidul. Okay, so Rashidul, can you speak to me? Undo your microphone, please. Oh, thank you, Annabelle. Rua, is it? Okay, so same instructions to everybody else. You need to click on the participants list to get the participants in the Skype call, and then you need to click on your red microphone to turn it black. Then you need to say something so we know we can hear you. Florette, your microphone is still unmuted, by the way. You probably want to mute it again. I'm not sure the problem here. To undo your microphone, you need the
Hello.
Ah, well done. Yeah, you found it. Excellent. Great. Okay, well, let's start. Last squeeze. How do you want to be called, by the way? That's a Rua from Annabelle.
Yeah, Isabel helped me.
Whatever you like, really. I tend to try and make people happy if I can. Okay, this is again. The bidding starts with the opponent. After a bit, I started to make a note as to which were the real hands and which were the constructed hands. So I had no idea which this is, but the bidding started with a 2-spade bid on the left. Your partner made a take-out double, and the next person raised the ante by bidding 3 spades. So how do you fancy yourself? Well, I think so too. I mean, it's marginal in one sense, but you have a singleton spade, which is excellent news, and partners made a take-out double, so what else can we do? We have to go big game, really. Well, here we are in one of our favourite contracts for a major, and the lead is the King of Spades. So, is it the King? Wait a bit. Let me read my notes. Silly me. Can I undo? Thank you. It's not. They lead the Jack of clubs. Okay, so tell me about the hand. What do you think's going on here?
Well, he might have singleton club.
I would think the most likely reason for making a strange lead is the fact he's a singleton. He's hoping for a ruff.
Yeah. He opened to a spade, so I think he's short in club.
Mm-hmm. What about how many tricks do we have? Because we always count up tricks and say how many do we need. I don't think it's very helpful here, though. We don't know how many heart tricks we have.
I have 2 diamond trick, 1 club trick, 1 spade.
So you need loads of tricks from somewhere, and it's unclear. Some of them are going to come from hearts. We don't. It's very hard to construct I need 2 tricks. I'm going to do this at the moment. But I think you're right. That club lead is trying to get a ruff. So what would you like to do about that?
Well, I want to put ace of club from dummy.
Okay, let's do that then. And, well, what next?
Well,
I think you're certainly right. Personally, I would have led. There's two things actually. It's possible that the ace, the queen, are both on the right, ace, queen, small, and if so, you want to stay in dummy, and you could have stayed in dummy if you'd have led the 6 of hearts, right? The 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 all make a sequence, and the standard advice for staying in dummy is to leave the bottom 1, because every time that entries are short, that is the one that saves you the most entries. Now, I wouldn't have done that because I'm not too bothered about staying in dummy, but what I am bothered about is who's got the ace and who's got the queen. So personally, I would have led the queen because there are players out there who will always cover the jack with the queen. And if he doesn't play the queen on the jack, that might be an inference about who's got what. Are you with me?
I think East got the ace, and
you think Western, but you don't know, and they say it costs nothing.
I don't know.
You have the Jack 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and 5. It costs nothing to try the Jack, and every time it turns out to be East who's got the Queen and West who's got the Ace, maybe they'll help us out. But the Queen, I say, there are people out there who will always cover a Jack with the Queen. So leading the 3 isn't the best card, but never mind, because never mind. You did lead the 3. Oh, you're asking for an undo. You want to try. Yeah, okay, yeah, fine. Okay. So I say, I think it's better. You can afford it, and it's not really that you're trying to, you're just hoping for it. But you're absolutely right. He does have the ace, and there's no way he's going to let his partners club rough. Not actually, okay. And you were right about who had the queen as well. Oh, well, you didn't avoid the rough, but never mind. I think this is straightforward, yes. High, even number. Yes, there's one trump left out. I think it's right to take it. And now that we've drawn the trumps, what are we going to do? You're going to play off all the hearts, right? Do you want to discuss the hand? What have you got here in terms of threats and finesses and so on?
If West had Queen of Spade and Queen of Hearts, he will be squeezed.
That's right. You've got the finesse, right? That's right. He's got the Queen of Diamond, you meant, not Queen of Hearts.
Queen of Diamond and
Queen of Diamond, Queen of Spade. He will be squeezed. Absolutely right. You of course have a finesse position as well, but
yes.
the squeeze position is better because we're in a show up position. This one is positional, of course. The threats are the Jack of Spades in the north hand and the Diamond in the north hand. Well, maybe. Yeah, no. The threat is really your Jack of Diamonds. So I guess it's an automatic squeeze. You've got threats in your own hand, threats opposite, but the left-hand player, as you play off your squeeze cards, is the one being squeezed. So the show-up squeeze is in effect. You've now option now, Rua, because you can't cross the diamond, you'll be in the wrong hand. So this is an inferential shot. So it doesn't matter, because although it doesn't show, the show-up squeeze is still working. West cannot hang on to the Queen of Diamonds and hang on to the Queen of Spades. So the squeeze will work in just the same way, just you won't see in a show-up that he doesn't actually have it when you do the squeeze. Oh, sorry, you've asked for a non-do. I don't see these things, sorry. So you play the 9 of hearts.
No, I want to play one round of diamond.
Ah, you went, no, let's do it the other way round. I liked what you did because it didn't matter, and all the others, we've actually done it literally as a show-up. So I'll say, no, just do what you did, and we'll see how the squeeze works regardless, okay? So there. So now play off squeeze card. Now, you're not going to see the card. He's throwing the diamonds away, because he's got to keep that Queen of Spades. Well, you throw your single threat because he's useless. And now, if he's got the Queen of Diamonds, he's got it as a doubleton. So although you don't see it at this stage, you know that the finesse is pointless. So the show-up squeeze works even if you haven't bothered to actually cash one of your top winners and literally show the card up. So there it was. Once again, the Queen turned out to be offside and the finesse would have failed, but we're doing to there. So you're right. If you'd have played off a top diamond, you'd have seen he didn't have the Queen, but you don't have to see it, right? As long as you know that you made him throw away all these diamonds and keep the Queen of Spades, then you know that it can never be right to actually take the finesse. It must be right to play off the Ace-King and drop the Queen. Playing the Ace of Diamonds would merely have shown up the squeeze. We'd have seen the fact for sure that his last diamond wasn't the Queen, but we don't have to. Thank you for that. And I'm afraid... You're well, thank you. Thank you for coming. That's the last one of these, and I did want to start the next topic. The next topic is we're actually going to go on to double squeezes. So I will be back onto the treadmill. What if the threats are... I'll give you a preview. When we do double squeezes, we're going to find that a typical distribution is that you have two threats and neither of them have entries. So there's no way of crossing backwards and forwards to use both your threats. So what that means is if we have to cross backwards and forwards, which we do, we will have to involve a third suit in the squeeze. We need another suit to act as our entry to and fro between the two hands. So more adventures next week when we do something totally new. This was really just a variety of the squeezes. They could have been positional, they could have been automatic, but they have this special thing about them being a finesse position in it, and the squeeze works out then to be better than the finesse because it picks up Queen Doubleton when you actually have it. I say you can actually pick up Jack to 3, I think, as well with this sort of squeeze. I've never in my life picked up a singleton king because really, what's the chance of finding a singleton king in a finesse position and you have a squeeze as an option? So sorry to leave early. I know you enjoy watching all these hands, but you'll have to wait till next week for your next treat.
Thank you, Alan. And
yes.
Once again, I've recorded this, and it will go up on YouTube. For those of you who've not seen them before, just go onto YouTube and search for Cedar's Squeezes. Okay, and it hopefully will be there within the next hour. Probably sooner.
Yes. Yeah, I should have said some things as well. For those who missed it last week, Adam and I did re-record the first talk I gave, which was very unsatisfactory because I had to talk all about the theory of squeezes with threats and etc. in abstract because I had no way to support it. So in the videos, I've actually managed to use a PowerPoint thing to actually give visual support to what I'm saying. So if you missed that talk or really found it a bit too abstract and want to see it again, it is now online with all Adam's other videos. And I also want to say, those of you who there are notes with all these. Normally when I prepare such a talk, I actually prepare a written thing. It's a Word document. Some of you will already have it because I'll have given those notes to Sanya. But in fact, they're about to be changed. I made some final changes last night. I will be making more changes to get rid of that option in the first hand I gave you to allow a much better way of making the contract. And you should find by tomorrow that there's a final version of the notes for all three squeezes. All two squeezes so far. The automatic squeezes and the positional squeezes. There is also a set of notes, but I haven't published them yet, on the double squeezes, which is coming up, and they will be given to Sanya for publication as well.
So once again, if anyone goes to YouTube or just do a Google search on Cedar '(S) Cedar's Squeezes, you will find all the YouTube squeezes that we've recorded so far, all these sessions. I think this is the 5th or 6th, and the sessions that Alan and I have recorded together, which are shorter. They're just about 10 minutes each, so you can take them. They're what I call bite size, so you can watch them whenever you want.
But the notes are only, I think, on the
IAC.
The actual Word documents are actually only on the IAC site.